Welcome back. So this time what we're going to be going for is finishing the skill tree for the survival section. This is really straightforward. We're not going to be doing anything else. We want to get the skill tree pretty much done, ready for us to just be able to add our own abilities, or at least mostly done. We may have minor changes in the future, but I certainly won't be focusing a video on it. Anyway, let's get started. I removed the 2 skill requirement conditions for disabling the button after bought. This will fix the issue of the button not being deactivated when the resources are less than the amount needed for the button to be activated when the upgrade is bought. Then did the same for the other upgrades. A quick test to see if the issue is resolved, which it is. Once bought, the upgrade can no longer be bought again. In the skill tree script, I added headers so that it's easy to identify specific variables in the inspector, as you can see on the right. I decided that having resources as requirements for purchasing upgrades in this tree made the skills cost difficult to remember, and by having multiple resources requirements made the process of upgrading irritating. The easier option is to have a currency specific to the skill tree. This is done in most games because it is easier to grasp. Some resources would be locked to an area but will result in the player getting frustrated if they cannot find the resource and could not buy the upgrade they wanted, so it's best to change it now. As I have done in the past, I will add the key press to activate the function or for testing purposes, but we'll change this later. In the skill tree script, place the resources needed to the skill points and remove the second skill requirement as it is not needed. Then a quick test for upgrade 1. I need to know how much points the player has, so I added a text which will take in the amount we have. I convert the number to a string for the text variable and create the text in the UI just like how I did the cost. Then get a reference to the text in the UI. I made a mistake by putting the convert int to text in the wrong place. Instead of the start method, it should have been in the update method, so that the changes in the tree are updated constantly. Once that is fixed, I move on to buy upgrade section. Currently when it is bought, it is taking away the seagrass, but instead should only be taking away skill points. I simply add an if statement for skill points. I also want to know if I do not have enough skill points to buy the upgrade, so I add a debug.log to give me a message. If we do have enough, buy it. This also acts as a recheck for the points. Finally, replace any code that uses seagrass for skill points, and delete any unnecessary code. Now our skill tree for the survival section is finished. All that's left is to duplicate what we've done for the survival section to the hunting and exploring sections. And next time I want to do the other section of what these resources are going to be used for, which is mainly for food. I want the player to be able to manage their resources and decide whether they want to put these resources into skill points or if they want to use them for food. And depending on what resource they use, it'll give either more skill points or more food. So the player has to try and decide. So I want to create another UI, specifically like an exchange UI, that will allow the player to do this. See you next time.